Okay, so I'm going to show you how to merge your images together for your panorama. Remember, you're supposed to shoot a minimum of 12. Um, if you've shot only 12, you can just import them into iPhoto and then go to Photoshop and open them from there. If you shot over 12 or 20 or more, we'll say, you should export them. So I'm going to show you two demos today in one. Um, And the first one's just going to be merging them and then finishing up an image. So I've imported the images here. I've got 12 pictures in iPhoto, and I want to go to Photoshop, go File, Automate, Photo Merge. Then I want to click Browse, where it says Use Files. Click Browse, and then I want to go down to Photos on the sidebar here. And then hopefully you put them in a folder, which you should have in iPhoto, so they're easy to find. And you just go down and pick that folder, or the album rather, and select all the pictures there. I'm just clicking and dragging. You can do Command A on the keyboard and click Open, and you'll see them all listed here. And then click OK. And as long as you didn't shoot um, at a super maximum size and you don't have many more than 12 or so, it should go pretty fast. If you shot lots and lots of pictures, you have 20 or more, then I'm going to show you how to export them in a minute. Okay, so here it is. The image has been put together. We can see over on the layers palette that they're all stacked and the masks have been added to blend them together for us. And at this point, I just want to flatten the image. So I'm going to go to Layer, Flatten Image. And then I'm going to do a little bit of manipulation to try to correct some of the distortion around it and just sort of fill the space a little bit more. So I'm going to select all on the keyboard, Command A, and then I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Warp. At this point, you can pull the image up. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit, Command 0, and then I'm going to make the image the window bigger. And I'm just going to pull some of these sides up by grabbing this grid and trying to fill the space a little bit more. You don't want to do this so much that you get a lot of crazy wavy action going that looks too distorted. So be careful that you keep the image looking somewhat correct in its proportions and perspective and stuff. Let's zoom out a little bit more again and just work on pulling some of this stuff down. Okay. All right, so I'm going to click OK on that. And I'm going to deselect and I'm going to just go ahead and zoom back in. Right, so I could theoretically be done and crop in on this at this point, but I might want to do some cloning. Maybe I want to go ahead and continue the sky up. Use the clone tool, for instance, which is S on the keyboard. And I'm going to do this on a new layer. So I'm just going to, on the layer palette, I'm going to click new layer here. And then I want to clone along the top. I'm going to clone current and below. That way I can actually clone and put the content on this blank layer. So if I mess up or anything, it's easy fix. And I'm just going to go in here and pull some of this cloud action up above and try to make it blend in. Oops. We got to watch out for trees. I'll make my stamp tool a little smaller. And I'm just going to take these clouds up and try to blend them so that it works pretty well above here. Mix it up. Now when I get to the bushes here, I'll try to pull these up. Actually, let me go ahead and do the sky behind the bushes first. erase a little bit. Back to my eraser. Go in and get rid of the stuff that I just put the clouds over the bushes here. I'm go back to my stamp, and I'm going to take these bushes and come up above the tree. Alright, so not bad. And then I want to crop it, so C on the keyboard. And if y'all would, don't crop these any larger. The finished size shouldn't be any larger than 11 by 17. So I'm going to make this 11 by 17 and see how that works out. If you don't want to set a fixed size, you can just freely crop it, but don't let it be too ginormous, please. Alright, so there is that finished panorama, and then I'll just save it off as a JPEG to turn in. Remember, you should have saved it at some point as a Photoshop file with all your layers intact. I'm just going to throw it on the desktop with that title for now. And it's still a Photoshop file. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. But this time, I've got more than 20 images. And I shot this with a fairly large megapixel camera, so the file sizes are really large. So I want to make sure that the end result file is not going to be so big that it takes forever for Photoshop to put it all together. So I'm going to export these at a smaller size. So I'm going to select all. I'll go File, Export. And I do want them to be JPEGs. The quality, I'm going to go ahead and put at high, and I'm sorry, put the quality at maximum, and then put the size at large. Large will be smaller than full size. It'll compress the images some. And you can just go ahead and leave the file name as the title. Click the export button, and then you want to put a folder on your desktop. And then I usually just say something like Pano 1. I'm going to call this Pano 2. And then click OK, and iPhoto is going to export those at a smaller size. And I'll show you, I'll compare the size here for you. Alright, so let me just pull one of these out, copy to the desktop. So I've got this image here straight out of the camera, and it is 3.2 megabytes. And then these exported ones are about half the size. Okay, so it will reduce the size and make it go a little bit faster. So I'm done with iPhoto. We go back to Photoshop, File, Automate, PhotoMerge, Browse. On the desktop, Pano 2, select all, Open, and click OK, and let Photoshop go through and do its thing. Now, I didn't really speak about the different blending option or merge options that you can pick in that photo merge window, and you may see a problem here that I've seen in this image before. So we're getting there. Remember, when you're shooting, you want to overlap a third to a half. A half is actually a little bit better, but you'll need to shoot more images for them to work. Okay, so here is the way Photoshop handled the blending of the images, and I could be satisfied with that and just crop in on this center one here and work with it, and that'd be fine. Or I could try it again with a different method. So I'm going to try again. But this time, I got to actually save this one. But this time I'm going to choose some different options. So Automate, PhotoMerge. I'm sorry. And this time I'm going to check geometric distortion correction. Okay, and see what happens with that. So the images will be looked at a little bit differently with Photoshop this time. Okay, so that time Photoshop did a little bit better job. You can see that fewer images were put out. Um, and I could always try to move these into place over here, and I think I might. Um, so I'm going to come get my move tool, and I'm going to grab these two, and they actually go somewhere up in this area, I believe. Yeah. So I'm just going to slide one in there and see if I can sort of get them to work. Uh, and I could go in and do some blending and stuff, but anyway, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so I'll show you the end product um, that I do believe I saved. Yeah. All right, so this is the end product of one that I merged together the other day, that same shot. So you can see that there are places that didn't match up, and that's okay if it's not perfect. You still get a sense of the space, and it's pretty crazy distortion going on, but I like this a lot. Of course, it's been adjusted with the correct, image correction. I did some cloning and stuff on the floor over here in the lower left to pull the floor in, and I did put that piece in that was not matched up and blended it in to work better. Okay, so remember, you're going to do a minimum. You're going to turn in a minimum of 2 panoramas. Hopefully, you'll have more than 2 taken. I'm just going to crop in on this here. I'll just do a freeform crop, and so I could go in and continue working with with this. Okay, so that's it. Merge to Panorama or PhotoMerge, and I hope you all have luck with this. Please ask questions if you need to.